Wonder why everyone's full.
You ever film a film?
Yeah, no.
Really? You know,
You wish we did this.
I did. Oh, I'm just watching it. What the what's in there? That's HD. This is better than HD. This is fine. Good. Oh, don't bump it, don't.
Okay, just to set the scene, I'm an advisor for the ICTOHAS, which is the Information Computers Technology of Health and Safety. I'm owner of a research business, and and I'm also talking to the QSA board, the Queensland Studies Authority. Okay, members of the board, I'm sure we've all heard about the story about Anders Breivik, a 32-year-old man who recently gunned down 69 people on the island of Utah. He later planted a bomb on a silo in Norway, killing an additional 8 people. He later then told the media that he used Call of Duty as a stimulation. Violent games, especially war games like Call of Duty, produce an unhealthy mental state that will later lead to violence and/or joining military groups. This can be a problem because what can be achieved in these games is nothing like the real world. Often the information provided in these war games, like Call of Duty, is inaccurate representations of real-life warfare. This inaccurate information gives the wrong impressions about war. It convinces the players of the game that it's an enjoyable experience to join the Navy, or the Army, or whatever. These newly joined recruits, mainly between the ages of 16 and 21, are not prepared for the real-life situations that war has to offer. As you all know, I'm representing a research group. This research group is called Sphincta. And I've also been advising the Bureau of Information Communications Technology and Health and Safety. After 18 months of research, Sphincta has come up with Operation TARDIS, which is teaching about radical discourse in schools. Here at Sphincta, we found a direct correlation between computer war games and the side effects of war. What happens is teens playing these games develop an unhealthy mental state. There was a kid a few years back. His name is Jake Dragon. He was a lonely kid. Every night he would go home, squat down on the carpet with his favourite blue pillow, watching documentaries about raccoons and turning old tissue boxes into guitars. Then one day he found Call of Duty. This kid completely changed his lifestyle. He would walk around doing hand signs of guns going pew, 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 or shotguns out windows at birds who would tweet. This is where Sphincta came in. We did a one-on-one program. What we did was we took the time to give this man a Mac, which now he plays a game called Minecraft. At the moment, he's a happy kid who loves his Mac to bits, and there's no more violent hand gestures. He now teaches nursery rhymes, Three Little Mice, to little kids, and he has a hobby of spelunking. This was all done by Operation TARDIS. We're not actually asking to ban video games altogether. What we're doing is we want you to embrace video games in schools. TARDIS is a system, or more like a guidelines, that allow the use of Call of Duty and other titles like Battlefield 3 in a controlled environment, teaching students the consequences of war and make students realise the distinct difference between computerised warfare and real life. To test the efficiency of TARDIS, we got 30 people from the ages of 16 to 21 and we sat them down. We first We first asked them how many of those actually played Call of Duty. All of them did. Then we asked them how many of those are thinking of joining the military. 52% of them, that was 16 of them, put their hands up. So obviously there's a direct correlation between Call of Duty and joining the military. What we did is we split these 30 people into 3 different groups. A control group, a food group, and the TARDIS group. All 3 groups will be playing COD over a 12-week period. With the control group, after each game, they did nothing. At the end of the 12 weeks, they had to analyse a series of kids' shows, including Spongebob SquarePants and the Mighty Morphing Power Rangers. The food group was more like an encouragement group. Soon after they played their game, each group went down to Nandos and had some assorted range of chicken, included butter chicken, chicken dippers, cheesy marinated chicken, which also included a range of spices. After the 12-week period, the group had to write an essay on sperm whales. Or they had a choice to go to a doily creating class. The TARDIS group was much the same, but instead of eating food or doing absolutely nothing, each time they finished their game, they had to sit down and analyse how they went throughout that game, how they could improve, etc. like that. Soon after the 12 weeks, they had to do one of 2 things. Grow a herb garden, which allows them to calm down and care for a second life. So it's taking away from this violence and blood and gore of these computer games and sitting them down in front, growing herbs and whatnot. They also had a choice to analyse the book Guantanamo Boy by Anna Perra. This shows clearly in the book that the government could not separate the difference between a computer game and real life. After all the results, the control group was left with 50% of people, so that was 5 of them still wanted to join the military. The encouragement group left with a whopping 90%, so 9 of them wanted to join the military. This was because of the food at Nandos. They encouraged them to be violent people. Now, the success of the TARDIS, or Operation TARDIS, was decreased down to 1%. So only 1 person wanted to join the military. This was because we went in so much detail about this computer game that they just got sick of it. They just didn't want to do it anymore. So only 1 person still wanted to join the military. What helped was the novel. It really opened eyes for some people because it separated, it really sharpened this blurry line between video games and real life. So when people look at this book, they open their eyes up, and it makes, and they realise that the government still makes the same mistakes people do. Because the first step is acknowledging you have a problem. And being that you know that the government has a problem, it's much easier for you to go, oh, if the government does it, oh, I can do it as well. So this is where you people come in. As the head of education of schools of Queensland, we ask at Sphincta to allow Operation TARDIS to be taught in schools. This guidelines, these kids will love it, because basically you get to play computer games in class. And what it does is, by playing them all the time, they get sick of it easy. So they won't have to join the military and have these false hopes about, oh, military's cool, I just blew that person's head off. So that's why I'm here today to convince you that Operation TARDIS, which is teaching about radical discourse in schools, allowing this as a course guideline for Queensland Studies Authority. Thank you.